It is Friday. Welcome to the Plan C Sick podcast. I am Colin here with a sick
Cameron.
We are not feeling that great. Energy isn't so high, but we didn't care. We wanted to get a podcast out to you guys because content is important. What are we talking about today, Cameron?
So today we will be talking about adulthood and finding direction after school and stuff like that. I think this is not going to be too long a podcast, so we might do a part 2. Maybe
we're pretty out of it.
Yeah, but maybe next time we do this, we'll have some other people and their opinions on what life has been like post.
And people who are like actually out of school and have real jobs, and maybe we'll even get people who own houses and shit to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options.
Yeah, definitely.
Situations.
So, stay tuned for future podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Plan_C_podcast. We always love and appreciate that. Send us any feedback you have. Rate, subscribe on Apple.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. Honestly, we've been getting some follows on the Instagram, so that's pretty cool. And check us out on Patreon. We're gonna upgrade one of our Patreon things soon to include stickers, because we're gonna have stickers soon, just to help share,
the message, and also, it's cool art.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Speaking of art, your boy Cameron Stoic_Lotus does have a show called Here We Are. It is on Saturday, February 15th through March 14th, and it will be at 209 East 23rd Street, 3rd floor. It's a long show.
Manhattan or Brooklyn?
Manhattan.
There you go.
The city.
Suggested trains to get there.
I have no idea because I haven't.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
well,
so.
let's think about this. East 23rd. So that's okay. So you're gonna want to take the 6. You could probably catch.
You're gonna take the Q from Brooklyn to the 6. Q to 14th Street.
Get to
6 to 23rd.
Get to a 6.
Yeah. You'll be all good.
You'll want to be on the front of the train too. Don't want to get off at 22nd Street.
Yeah.
Just want to get right on the 23rd. Anyway, that is that. We are here. We are ready. Here we go.
Finding direction after school. It is something that a lot of us are going to have to deal with, if not dealing with now. It is something that is kind of difficult and kind of in the air, like especially for people that don't have like a pipeline to a career, which is most people at this point.
Not all of us get to just go to school again.
Yeah.
To be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever.
Grad school or like directly to a company.
Yeah.
Like if you're an engineer or something like that.
Yeah, and I think, personally, I think a lot of people struggle with kind of what to do once they're not being told what to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And just literally, you need to be able to find a direction that A, works for you, and B, that's going to make you happy. Like, that's long term, that's how you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to make money, but if we're talking about from a personal perspective, sorry guys, can't talk. It's just, the difference between having a set routine every day, like in high school and in college, and then going to then a much more independent level of being like, well, I don't have classes, but I could, sign up, or I could, buff up my resume and send it to some people, or I could play God of War for 5 hours,
Yeah, and also there's like...
There's a lot more responsibility on yourself as a person.
Yeah, and also it's like in school, it's like you do the work, you get the grade, in life, it's like you do the work.
It's
You might not get shit, actually.
Yeah, and it's not a ton of critical thinking, for school beyond your assignments.
Yeah. There's no real planning. It's like,
Beyond planning for your classes.
Yeah.
Unless you like had a job in college and had to support yourself. Then,
you'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah. I also think that leadership positions help people a lot.
Oh, for sure.
In just kind of development in general, because that teaches you how to connect with people. And just shows you, especially if you have bad bosses,
Which are most bosses.
and you can recognize that they are a bad boss, and it doesn't, it doesn't even have to be a boss. It could just be like some sort of manager, and you see kind of what a shit boss is. So then you're able to then formulate your own way of leading that is, in your opinion, better than that of old bosses.
Yeah, it's just like being aware on like how to communicate with people and stuff. Like I know, especially like playing soccer on like a travel team and having to like really at times lead the team, like definitely helped me deal with people that might have problematic personalities.
Yeah.
And also knowing when people that are in a position to take advantage of you are taking advantage of you, because these days, like a lot of people, our parents haven't dealt with the situation that we're dealing with now in terms of how to get jobs and internships. And a lot of parents are like, oh, you need an internship after school, or you need an internship during junior, senior year.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's paid or not. Just do
Experience. But the thing about experience is you need experience in the right way and with the right things on your resume as
Exactly. Because like I feel like a lot of internships that aren't paid are really just taking advantage of people who just want to get out there.
For sure. I also think that, this is now me. I think, in my line of work, I deal with people all the time. I'm a waiter, among like, sometimes bartending as well as, sometimes bar backing, sometimes in the kitchen, blah, 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 whatever. So, I have a lot of skills that I feel that are applicable to other places in the world that I think I can help out a lot. But most places don't give me a damn interview because, I don't have a college degree yet.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know what? I'm fucking kick-ass. I'm a good employee. I show up on time. I do what I'm told. Those are the two most important things for an employee. But you know what? I'm also, like, I also bring so much energy to the table. Like, wherever I work, I am always trying to bring positive fucking energy because I hate people who are toxic in the workplace.
Oh yeah, it ruins it for everyone.
Yeah, and those people, I believe, never dealt with conflict in a way that they were able to healthily, is that a word? Healthily?
Yeah.
Healthily deal with other people in times of conflict. And I think that's another part of kind of becoming an adult, especially after school, is having a judgment of having a good judgment of character, because the people around you dictate what you're going to do in life. It's true. If people are sitting around you and they're just playing video games and that's all they're really doing, you're not going to get shit done, because those are the people that that you're hanging out with. So if they're all doing that, then you're not going to want to do work. You're going to want to play video games with your friends.
And also, like, in college, you can kind of choose your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
Like, I don't have, like, a huge amount of friends because I vet my friends very carefully, because I just don't like dealing with drama and bullshit. Like, that's college, high school, college, and it's kind of, people change a lot in college, but socially sometimes people actually don't change that much.
Well, no, because these are social habits, so to speak, that have been instilled in our lives for so long.
Yeah, people just find their own bubble again, and life goes on just with college shit.
And I know we very much have a similar mindset, so me saying this is kind of hypocritical, But a lot of the times, people also just like are friends with people they're comfortable with, whether they are good friends or have a healthy relationship or not. It's a lot of the time it's comfort.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is, you know, people just echoing others.
Yeah, and that, like, what I was gonna say is that in real life, you have to be friends with people that you may not necessarily like that much, and you have to be treating people in a way that you're offering something, and you're kind of
I
it's like you don't necessarily have to be best friends with everyone that you work with, and you don't necessarily have to be best friends with every connection that you meet with. It's like you have to be thinking past that and really be thinking about yourself and what not it's kind of manipulative to say like what you can gain from this person, but
No, but every
in a
every
sense,
every relationship has its
yeah,
utility.
it's utility and give and take. And
But literally, you know, whether you know, I think that's why people who are in really toxic relationship people say that they have great sex. You know,
yeah, don't burn bridges though. That was the moral of that story.
I think it's appropriate to burn bridges with the right people.
Well, don't burn bridges with people that you think will be important to your future.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I personally have a bad habit of not following up because like life gets in the way and stuff like that, and
You
that one
just
person,
forget.
and you kind of it's just not on your mind. You're like, oh damn, now I don't
You
have
don't
this.
respond to that text message.
Yeah, or maybe you just no one's really gonna reach out for you if they're a contact that's supposed to help you. So it's like sometimes you really just have to.
You got to push.
You gotta really push. Yeah.
I think that a big thing with people and especially relationships is that if somebody's been in their life for a while, that is dog across the street who never stops barking. Thanks, and is named Ketchup. So thanks, Ketchup. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, so people factor in so much of time being like so people will keep other people in their life a lot longer if they've been in their life longer.
True.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think people confuse loyalty with just duration.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like I know people who I've been friends with for a very long time, but it doesn't mean that they're one of my closest friends because I've known them for a while. I think loyalty is about, especially in friendship, it's mostly just about being there.
Yeah.
Just being there for your homie. And I think people who don't want to disassociate with other people that are toxic because they're like, oh, but they've been in my life for so long. I think that's a mistake. And I think that's another thing that as adults that you really need to recognize because you start having your own interests and your own goals. And if you
can't compromise your direction.
Yeah. And you might be doing that. And toxic doesn't mean necessarily like, oh, you're fighting all the time. Toxic can be like just people who aren't doing shit.
For sure.
People
whose energy kind of holds you back.
Yeah. And energy who holds you back from being your true self.
Yeah, it could be like a friend that's always like when you talk, they're always like venting on you about and like getting that angry energy, or a friend that's always indecisive, or I mean, obviously if they're your friend, you stick with them,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're really not if they're negatively impacting you,
that's what
you should
I'm saying,
you should have you don't necessarily have to cut them off, but you should definitely have a conversation.
And that's why I said, disassociate more so than like burn the bridge or cut off.
Yeah, just learn how to talk to people, like your friends, and like what they're doing, and don't be afraid to, like, if someone's making you feel a type of way, like, talk about it.
And if they're not going to change the way they do something because it bothers you, then maybe think about revisiting that friendship.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, I will say that one thing I find, I didn't even notice until I was like, late junior year, senior year, is how important it is that, especially like if you're in college or around this time, is the people that you meet now are the people that will possibly give you jobs and opportunities and
Currently,
just
yes.
yeah
For
and,
you, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like just knowing someone puts you one
Connections are
step
everything.
yeah puts you one step away from someone that really could help you. And I think that people don't value just being in a community with people that are all trying to progress their careers, because even if someone's in a totally different career path as you know, entirely different, but they're trying to work towards your thing and you're trying to work towards your thing, and you're like, hey, you know, let me help you out. Let me help you out the back door. I got this guy who has something.
The back door.
The back door. I got this guy who has something to do with you, and they're like, oh, thanks, man. And then later down the line, they might give you a favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I feel like the Plan C podcast, our thing could be like connecting people, like within the city and stuff like that, and without and not even in the city, you know, like if we can get like a Discord running and stuff like that. And
We have a Discord. Nobody's on it.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
But if any of you guys like feel that you need help with connections, or you don't know where to go, or maybe even if you do know where to go, but there are other people that will be willing to help you, and you can probably help other people and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You know? So if you're listening to the podcast and, you know, shout us, tell us what you do, and
We like craft.
yeah, you know, we can definitely connect people, and you guys can connect with each other, you know.
I think one time we should do like a traveling pod or something. We like do a podcast on the train or something.
That'd be fun.
And we could do it too. We use the Bluetooth the snowball. We have somebody's laptop. I know like somebody who has like a literal like battery thing that you can plug laptops in and shit.
That'd be fun. Let's
Yeah.
just like get people's opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, obviously, soon we'll be having guests on the pod.
Yeah, we're gonna as we've, I don't know if we're necessarily hitting a stride, but I think we're getting better at podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, well, if anything, we can just share a mic and we can get other people's opinions, because I know to you guys that are listening, I'm not sure if we repeat some of the same things, but I think it's good to have other perspectives, definitely on issues like this, because while I'm an artist, like I might not know all the issues that might go on with being in business or, you know, architecture, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or even just other artists. All artists have different problems. Everyone's an individual. Everyone has their own set of issues.
That's very true. So just another thing about just kind of the transition between college and real life, or just, you know what, just even high school to real life, or just even that kind of transition where it's like, yeah, you know what, you're no longer in school, or you no longer are doing X, and now you kind of got to put your big boy pants on.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to have not only people around you that are doing shit, but just people who challenge you.
Oh, for sure. People who expect things of you.
Yeah.
You know?
Expectations are super important. Like we know some people that just, they are friends with us, but expectations are like meh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just super low. And I think that when you have so many people in your life like that, that you yourself then lower your own expectations.
Yeah, well, it's because, like, if you, like, for me, I suppose it's a bit of my ego that gets in the way, but, like, when I see people around me that are super successful, obviously I get super driven, and I also get super stressed. But that stress also makes me work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it puts a fire under
Like,
your
I'm
butt.
like, fuck, you know, people around me are, like, really, like, working towards their careers, like, you know, everyone likes their shit. I really need to work harder. And, of course, that is, like, somewhat detrimental, because I really shouldn't be comparing myself to other people. But it is something that, if it wasn't the case and I was just around people that weren't doing as well as me all the time, then I definitely wouldn't feel the drive to really try harder, because I'd be comfortable with my pace.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just moving away from the people you may want or have in your life, another important thing is just try and find stability. I know that is close to impossible. It really is.
Yeah, it is
but
hard.
Balance is so fucking important in life.
Balance and like a routine.
Yeah. It really is.
It changes everything.
Yeah. Because I think routines, especially if they're made with good habits, are the best fucking thing in the world.
Yeah,
Because
you'll feel more energized throughout the
Yep.
day. You'll get more stuff done. You'll manage your time more appropriately.
and you keep yourself honest.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, well, shit, I fucking didn't brush my teeth today. Damn. And then you wake up and your breath stinks.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah, keeping a routine is good because it lets you know when you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a routine and you're just kind of like, well, like me, and you're just kind of like flowing through the days a bit and just getting work done, here and there.
I would say you have somewhat of a routine. The thing is you're still going to school, and then, we still have this thing we do every Friday.
That's true. School just fucks me up. It gets in the way.
But I think that you dedicate so much time to school that is a routine.
Yeah.
You may not be like thinking about it as a routine, so to speak, but it is part of your routine that you are going to school and that you are spending so much time doing work.
Yeah. But yeah, it keeps me honest. But like, for sure, the ability to really have things that you're planning to do and then accomplishing them will honestly just make you a happier person overall.
Being honest with yourself is also so important.
Yeah.
If you know that you're gonna 2 days out of the 7 days of the week, if you know that you want to just like sit up, smoke a joint, watch TV for 8 hours, that's fine. But just know that about yourself.
Yeah, and then manage your time appropriately.
Exactly. Like, go grocery shopping during the week then. Do laundry during that time. Some shit like that. And when you're honest with yourself, then you don't feel shitty.
Exactly, because I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you then, like, the idea is to plan, like, plan for your week, and it's like, I would almost say that that's additional. Mm-hmm. Like, you can plan for your week, but, like, your week is in the future. You can't control what's going to happen in your week, Planning for the future is like hoping to become famous.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. Like, what's most important is, like, when you're in the moment and you're doing something and you have your routine and you're not doing it in that moment, you have to be like, oh, I'm fucking up. Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Like, in the moment. Those are the things that, like, I always heard that, like, people are like, oh, what's the most important step? And people always go like, oh, the first step. It's like, no.
It's keeping to that shit. Like
It's the first step is important.
It's not the most important. It might be the hardest, but it's not the most important.
Well, the most important step is always the next step.
Yes, the next step.
Yeah. The first step, your next step is always your first step.
Yeah.
And that's really
That's the T.
what you have to think about it. Because a lot of people, talk about, oh, I'm going to do this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing now? Like, what's tomorrow? Not even tomorrow, what's now?
Yeah.
How are you setting up for this?
Exactly.
Because, like, even all the time you spend thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it is time that you could actually be doing what the fuck you want to do.
You got anything else?
On a similar note, I want to talk about entering adulthood and the increased importance of maintaining your mental health. Because in high school and in college, people can attribute value to, like...
people?
I didn't say you people. I just said people.
I thought you said you people.
No.
Oh.
People can attribute value to, like, doing well in school and then maybe on your sports team playing well and, being good to your friends. And you can be happy just doing well on those things. But when you get into life, a lot of other things start becoming equally important. And, like, you start having to make sacrifices and you start having to really, like, what's really important to me right now. And I think it's super, super important to find what you value and making sure that you're doing those things that will make you happy in the long run.
Finding what you like is so important because on those days when you just you want to fucking die. Those days where it's just like, wow, nothing has gone right today. And I just like, you know?
Yeah.
It's so important to have that thing where it's just like, you know what? I'm going to watch basketball for half an hour. And for that half an hour, I'm going to feel good because, you know, this is what I like to do. Or like, I'm going to play video games for half an hour because I'm going to feel good about it. And that's that. Or like, I'm going to read or whatever the fuck your coping mechanism is for that terrible time that makes you happy when it's raining on your face, you know. It's so, so, so important because that can be the difference between going to that interview and not going to that interview.
Yeah, and just like knowing your path, like knowing your dharma and like knowing what you want to do in life and making sure that you're working towards that at the moments that you can, because I found that in days that are really hard, whether I've done something for my future becomes very important. Like if I have a hard fucking day and I'm like, oh man, everything went wrong today, it's like, oh, you know, but I worked on this and I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, like that, like just working on something that you know is helping you, that you know that you were on track, that today was a productive day.
And that's you personally.
That's me personally.
That's you personally. Yeah.
Whether it could be working, it could be doing whatever it is.
You could watch a K-drama, episode of a K-drama.
Yeah.
You know, that you really like.
Yeah, but for me personally, like if
Yeah,
if I don't work, like I just get really stressed and I get really unhappy. But
One of our producers is kind of losing her shit.
Cat freaking out in the background. Cool.
Yeah, cat playing on a plastic chair that's making her a little staticky, so she feels really funny and kind of bugs out. It's really quite funny to watch. Maybe we'll get a slow-mo video of it one time.
Yeah, but yeah, like knowing your goal, whatever your goal is, and working towards that goal when you can will make, like, I think makes all the difference. It's like doing well in school. Like if you don't do well in school, you feel like shit regardless of what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing. If you're doing well in your goal in life, you'll feel good. Like regardless of what's happening, you're like, okay, but I'm still moving forward.
Exactly.
You don't want to become stagnant. Like stagnation is the gateway to depression and all the other negative shit that comes out.
Yep.
So that's my kind of 2 cents on that.
Yeah. So, you know, just be honest with yourself. Have self-awareness. Form relationships that you know will last. Whether it is strictly business or whether that's just your motherfucking best friend.
Yeah,
you know?
and also, like, you never know. I will say, don't make judgments on people so quickly.
Yeah, that too.
Like, I've seen people that have been enemies, and then one day you're like, oh, like, this person's actually, like, real with this shit, and he'll actually help me out, or they'll actually help me out.
Yeah.
And the script flips, and all of a sudden, those people become some of the most important people in your life.
Exactly.
So don't make judgments too quickly. The people that you might not like now might be your friends for the rest of your life, and also, or might just give you a job, or just randomly down the line might be that guy that helps you out.
Exactly.
Might be that girl that helps you out.
Just pay it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the time, just do your best.
Yeah. Got anything else?
Not really. Besides, like, if you're dealing with something, please do see people. Like, if you have close, talk to your friends. Like, if you're dealing with some shit or you're feeling some type of way.
Talk to people who love you.
Talk to people. First of all, say, if you have a problem or you're feeling a type of way, say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because when you say it out loud, it becomes real.
Yep.
And after that, you can decide what to do. But if you are dealing with something real, please do talk to your friends, because there are a lot of situations where people don't and bad things happen.
And people catastrophize.
Yeah.
Big time.
Like, you don't realize how in your head you are.
It's always worse in your head.
Yeah. Like, just get someone else's input, and you might realize that whatever you're dealing with isn't so bad, or maybe they have a solution that you hadn't even thought of.
Perspective is such a
It's
motherfucker.
crazy. People always forget that we can only see out of our own eyes.
Yeah.
And sometimes your eyes lie to you.
I can't see it out of my own eyes. I need glasses.
Yeah, you know? Sometimes your friends are your glasses.
Exactly.
That's a bar. I'm going to leave on that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you sticking with us through the Plan Sick podcast. We should have this up relatively soon. We appreciate everyone who listens, everyone who likes our stuff on Instagram, anybody who gives us feedback. Thank you so much. We want to thank our lovely producer Crayola here, who's kind of just marching along, just smelling all the wires, doing her due diligence. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter at plan_C_podcast. I'm going to puke if I say it any more times today. This has been the Plan C podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Follow the plan.
Follow the plan, guys. Follow the plan.
Deuces.